Revenge films.
On my way home from a business trip, I bought a comic magazine and read it on the train. After I arrived at the station, I put it in my bag and headed home. After arriving home, I took out the comic from my bag so I could throw it out. Then my wife walked in.
A comic book? What are you, a kid?
Why did she have to say that? She reads stupid magazines all the time. The thing is, I've been thinking about getting a divorce for a while now. But Dad got sick last year, so I was waiting for the right timing. But I think I'm ready now. I just can't stand her anymore. You're right. I'm a kid. Let's get a divorce. You deserve better. She seemed shocked. She was speechless. She probably thought I'd just stand there and take her insults without saying anything. Who knows? Honestly, I don't care. But I could tell that she didn't expect this. Why do you look surprised? You're always like this towards me. You wanted a divorce too, right? I snapped at her. She went silent for a while, then said,
I didn't mean it like that.
I'm the one busting my ass out there, and that's what she says to me when I come home from a business trip? How about a welcome home, dear? Unbelievable! And I bought the comic using my own allowance, so she doesn't have any right to complain. We've been married for 2 years. She agreed to keep working until we had a kid, but one day, she just quit without telling me. But then,
I need more money. You don't make enough money. What did I do to deserve this?
she started complaining about money. When you quit your job, you get less money. Even a child knows that. Plus, she made the choice to quit herself. She also had student loans to pay back.
My friend told me that her husband pays for it, so you pay for me too, okay?
Seriously? Hell no. Maybe your friend isn't a lazy bum like you. She's probably really good to him. Why did I marry her in the first place? She wasn't like this when we were dating. She was kind and caring. But as soon as we got married, she changed. We made all kinds of plans before getting married, but if she's gonna go and do selfish things like this, what am I supposed to do? I've had it up to here with her. I'm leaving her. End of story. The next day, I went to work like always. During lunch, I got a call from my mother-in-law. She told me that my wife was at their house crying. She asked,
What happened?
so I told her, I'm leaving her. Then I hung up on her. But maybe I owe them an explanation. Technically, they were still my parents-in-law. So the next day, I headed over to their house to finish this once and for all. They were all there. My wife looked really upset. Her parents seemed really confused. They didn't know what to say.
Divorce? It's just so sudden.
This was the first time they heard about this. They were panicking. Her mom said,
Why don't you think about it for a bit? You shouldn't make big decisions like this overnight. Just talk to her, will you?
Yeah, I mean, getting a divorce after 2 years? What will other people think of us? They tried really hard to stop me. I just stood there in silence and waited until they finished talking. Tell me, what did she tell you?
She told us you guys got in a fight about you reading a comic or something.
Looks like she didn't say anything about our prenup or how she quit her job without telling me. I don't think she realizes that she brought all of this onto herself. So I decided to explain the whole story to them. The fight was only one of the many reasons. Quitting her job without telling me? Complaining about how I don't make enough money for the both of us? And she didn't even try to manage our budget. Instead, she went out with her friends all the time, spending money as she pleased. Then she asked me to pay for her student loans. She wasn't even working. All she did was party. So I decided it was best to split up before we had a child. The fight about the comic was just a trigger. I told them that I've been thinking about this for a while now. Also, a few months ago, I started recording her on tape. I took out a flash drive and told them, here, listen to this. Then I played the recording in front of them. The first file was a conversation between my wife and her mother. They were talking about my sick father.
Just die already, right?
They were both laughing. Their faces turned blue when they heard it. There was more. In this one, she was talking with a friend about a party she went to.
The other night, I slept with this guy I met at the New Year's party. He was so handsome, I just couldn't resist.
My wife was speechless. I think they got the idea. Here are the divorce papers. Fill this out for me. I'll be back in a few days. Also, get your things out of my house by the end of the week. If you don't comply, I'll post this recording online and send it to all your friends. Plus, I'll sue you. She couldn't say anything back to me. Her face was completely blue now. I told her that we were completely broke thanks to her careless spending, so she wasn't getting any money after the divorce either. I also told her that if she agrees to the divorce right now, I won't sue her for damages under one condition. I drafted a document stating the reason and cause of the divorce. I asked her to sign it. After explaining everything to them, I headed home. Her mother-in-law was so embarrassed. Her face was red by the time I finished. Her husband was glaring at her the entire time. My wife stayed the night at her parents' house. She came over 2 nights later for her stuff. She brought the divorce papers as I asked.
I'll never say anything about your comic book again, so please reconsider.
I guess she still doesn't get it. She probably thought if she apologized, I'd take her back. But as I explained before, this was more than just the comic book. I've been thinking about this for more than a year now, and my mind is made up. So I told her, no.
Please, what am I supposed to do?
Not my problem. How about you get a job first, or just go live with your parents? I don't really care. She quit her job right after we got married, so she knew that if I left her, she'd go broke in a matter of days. No wonder she didn't want a divorce. But that's not my problem. She finally gave up. She left the house, leaving the divorce papers on the table. I'd never get a divorce over a fight about a comic book. But the things she said about my dad, plus she was cheating on me too, so I had more than enough reason to leave her. I wonder how she felt when I told her about the divorce. She's probably crying at her parents' house right now. Oh well, I'm finally free. I was so relieved to have her out of my life. About 6 months later, my friend told me how my ex-wife was doing. After the divorce, she went to live with her parents. She got a job, but since she spent the last 2 years not doing anything, work was really tough on her, physically and mentally. And her parents weren't helping either. Her mother always told her,
You're an embarrassment. All the neighbors are talking about you.
As for her father,
You should be ashamed of yourself, cheating on your husband, saying horrible things about someone fighting an illness. I don't want you in our house anymore. Get out!
she wishes she could leave, but she was broke. Plus, she only had a part-time job, so things weren't looking good for her. She had no choice but to live with her parents and put up with their verbal abuse. Good riddance. She did the same exact thing to me for years.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.